Alright, this is my hero, Brutus Maximus. There he is in the middle. He's kind of a half-man, half-bear kind of guy. I combined some of the subtitles that they would fit in with my story. There once was a man named Brutus Maximus who lives on an island called Capri with his family. Little did he know he was the sixth son of Hathor, which was a god line of heroes who failed time after time with their mentor and eventually died. But there was a prophecy about him saying that him being the sixth son would be the end of those failed before him. One day he was feeding the pigs when a man came rowing across the lake towards him, so he called his mother out and she said, "Go pack your stuff." And he did. When he came back out with his mother, she said, "I love you, son, and take this." She handed him her most prized necklace, so he put it on and left with the man who was to be his mentor. That was called an adventure and meeting a mentor. He was to train him to be able to fight the Shawnee warriors who were back from the dead, seeking revenge on any relative of Hathor who destroyed them. The training was gonna be all along the way to the Shawnee, which started with traveling to Agatha. She was a Greek monster who was known for lurking through the jungle, eating anything in her way, with her large teeth and snake-like body that was crossing threshold. Once they got there, Striker, the mentor, said, "Here you go," and handed him a sword. As Brutus was walking into the woods, Striker yelling, "Lesson number 1, think less, and just do." As Brutus walked farther and farther into the woods, he had these reoccurring flashes of memory that he usually only saw in his dreams. This time the flash was of one of what looked exactly like him fighting with a sword until, bam, he gets hit in the face and knocked back against a tree. It was Agatha. And she said, "What do you think you were coming around these parts of the woods? My parts of the woods." Brutus thought back to what Striker said, to think less and just do. And he started fighting back and forth, slash after slash, until Agatha was dead. When he saw the snake-like creature sitting there, he realized some changes. He moved faster and seemed stronger. He was on his way one step closer to the Shawnee warriors. Along with the way, he stopped for some rest in the night. He was in some pain, so the next morning he woke up early and hopped in the nearby river to wash off. And before he knew it, he was being sucked into the water, fought back to the surface for one last breath, and Striker then woke up, dove into the water to save him. When he got to Brutus, he grabbed him and pulled him out of the water, along with a slimy fish with legs standing there. Brutus then became conscious, and without a second of thought, became very angry and started slashing the fish left and right after it was dead. So Striker pulled him away and said, "That's enough." They started talking. Striker said, "Lesson 2, learn to control your anger and don't ever let it get the best of you again." That was trials and failure. They continued on, and through the next month, they ran into more obstacles with even more lessons, which included Brutus getting stronger, and till they finally reached the Shawnee warrior kingdom. That was growth and new skills. They divided a game plan of distracting them while Brutus would sneak in to kill the emperor of the Shawnee, but the emperor was already expecting them and captured Brutus. Brutus was then put on the stand in front of the whole kingdom, and the only thing keeping him from breaking out was that the stand was made of a special metal, which was his weakness he found out as a kid. But without his strength, Brutus Maximus was killed right in front of everyone. Striker found no way to save Brutus, so he left there before the murder. 2 weeks later, Striker was out in the woods, sitting by a campfire, with all hopes seemed lost, and when all of a sudden a burst of sunshine came out of the sky, along with a very loud boom. In a split second, a lightning bolt came down from the sky, striking the earth. Along with that bolt of lightning came Brutus Maximus. That was death and rebirth. But in this life, he was no ordinary man. He was built like a boulder, tall as a building, fast as lightning, had hair on his back like a bear, and most important of all, he had the sharp mind like an eagle, with the help of his mother's special necklace to help him control all this in the center of his mind. That was revelation. Striker stood with an overwhelming joy and said, "Brutus, I knew that you had potential to be great, but I never thought that you are outstanding. And one more thing, do you still have anger to release from last life?" Those final changes. They left the woods in a hurry so that they could make it this quick and easy. Once they got to the kingdom of the Shawnee warriors, they were gonna try the same plan as before, except this time it was gonna have a different turnout. Stryker did his part and distracted some of the kingdom to come to him. So then Brutus Maximus went in, and boom, pow. Left and right, he was knocking warriors back like they were toothpicks until he got to the evil emperor. When he went in to kill him, he suddenly became weak. The emperor turned the weakening metal into a sword. The emperor said, "Once a little weak link, always a weak link." Then Brutus said, "Not this time." With a blink of an eye, Brutus Maximus grabbed a chair and smashed it on the emperor, which made him drop the sword, making just enough time for Brutus to take a chair leg and behead him. Brutus went on to capture the rest of the warriors and people in the kingdom and lock them up so that the kingdom of Shawnee warriors could never hurt anyone again. That was atonement. And then finally, return changed. Brutus went home to his mother, and even though he was too big to hug her or live with her, he was big enough to and mighty enough to live with the gods. And once more, with a blink of an eye, Brutus had the flash of light, and he was gone. Though he was gone, he promised to himself if his village or town was ever in danger, he would be the one to be there and save them. And then the greatest strengths and weaknesses. His strengths are fast as lightning, strong as a bull, sharp mind like an eagle, tall as a building, great fighter. His weaknesses, special type of metal. That's Brutus Maximus.